So you want to be a dungeon master?
That's great. We're here to help. I'm Taylor.
And I'm Justin. This week, we're going to be coming at you with another one-shot. This time, we're doing one where the players are evil. Hold on. Just a sip of water. Okay.
Anyway, this idea comes in from The Joester, a mutual friend on TikTok who donated to a great cause to get this one shot. Here's the prompt he gave us. I'm running an evil campaign where the players aren't like murder hobos or serial killers, but they have been taken in by an organization who's working on making a cheaper healing potion, but one that will be highly addictive, and once you take enough of them, you have to keep taking them or you start dying. It's maybe some kind of mission to get a magic item with regenerative abilities, or perhaps hunt down some kind of a monster with something to harvest.
Dang.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty fun. I mean, boiling that down, that's a fetch quest, basically. I can't wait to jump right in. But first... Always going to be but first. Have you ever played either an evil character or a campaign or like a game where all the players were evil?
No, I can't say that I have. This is delving into some uncharted territory for me. Now, granted, I wouldn't say that I've got the shiningest of knights in my party, but definitely nobody's evil.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I have one sort of side campaign, only comes up once in a blue moon when there's no other sessions available or something, where a character has some evil tendencies, and as a DM, sometimes they're just chaotic. Sometimes they want to make certain decisions, and I'm like, oh, that's not just going to affect you, though. That's going to fuck up the whole party's vibes. And so, like, honestly, as a DM, and maybe this is taking the easy way out, I kind of just prefer if everyone's on the same page.
Yeah.
With a lot of stuff like that. Like,
I'm
I'd even go so far as, like, I'm not a big fan of, like, inter-party conflict. It really depends.
Yeah, I think the big thing about inter-party conflict is it's very easy for that PC clash to become player clash.
Right.
Where it's no longer the characters who are mad at each other. It's now your players are legitimately pissed at each other. And then now nobody's having a good time.
Yeah. Exactly. I think it's just easier to avoid. I'm not saying that because sometimes it happens and sometimes it's awesome. It's like such good parts of the storytelling. It makes a lot of sense. It like creates some really interesting dynamics and like some heartbreaking moments or whatever. I just think it has to be done so carefully. And so sometimes that care results in extra work, especially if you're the DM, because sometimes you have to be the mediator and this like facilitator, and it's like, gosh, I don't want to. The whole reason I'm trying to make D&D a job is so that I don't have to work in management. But I guess I'm sort of fucking myself up with that. Anyway, so you want to be a DM? So you want to be a district manager, Justin? No. Gosh. But
Lord have mercy.
And then as a player, it's very different because then it strongly depends on the DM. It depends on the other player who is like this quote unquote evil leaning character. Because sometimes it's not like they're outright evil, where it's like an easy cut and dry black and white binary thing. It's just like, for example, I play in a Pathfinder game where one of the players, and therefore player characters, sort of like worships a archdevil. So there's parts of it that, does it make it more challenging? Absolutely. I mean, there's some of the conversations where like I'm so close with that player, our mutual friend, who like our characters can get into tiffs and like argue.
Right.
And where my character is straight up saying like, okay, fine. Hey, you don't want my help? Whatever. Next time something attacks you in the middle of the night because your god created a fucking dream in your head, you're on your own. And I was able to say those harsh words in character, and then also like reach out to that person and be like, hey, just so you know, I'm cool. Like, we're cool. Like, my character's peeved, but like, we're cool. You know, like there's enough trust there
It's all fine.
that it's cool. But
It's
it does
all
make
love
things
now.
more challenging because then it's like this archdevil has a ton of connections with like secrets and stuff. So then finding out that like, oh, well, my character now doesn't fully trust you, not because you're constantly doing crazy evil things, but any secret I tell you, you're just going to go and tell you're this devil. So it's like,
Yeah.
all right, that's interesting. Okay. I'm not going to, my character wouldn't open up to you as much now. So that's been challenging.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense.
But it does mean that now I can open up to the other character in the party even more and be like, sorry, I can't tell so-and-so. Don't tell her. But I think I might have killed my wife. Anyway.
Okay.
But now,
Damn.
those are examples of when like one person is evil and everybody else is still good. And I'm using those phrases not like in a D&D alignment sense, but like very basic, right?
Right.
What about when the entire party is evil? Because that feels much easier and more fun for me because, hey, everybody's still on the same page. It adds some dynamics in terms of like maybe people have their ulterior motives and they're doing everything not for one collective reason, but at least they have some commonality.
Yeah. I do feel like playing an evil campaign, again, this is all comes down to the people at the table.
Big time.
Would still leave open a lot of room for inter-party conflict, which if you've got good players and a good DM, it doesn't have to go that way. But, you know, I know a lot of people whose first instinct was, oh, I'm evil. Oh, fuck these guys. I'm just going to attack them when they show up. Like, that's their envisioning of what evil means, is just attacking everything on sight.
Right. And like constantly doing sleight of hand checks to
Trying
steal
to
things
steal
from your party.
from
That is
yes.
such an annoying thing for me. I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
I've done it once as a player who was a rogue, but it was because the other PC was my sister and I gave it back to her. It was more like just I can get you whenever I want. It was just like a funny sister to sister kind of being like, stole your purse. Here it is. Give it back. It's missing like 1 gold. Like a dumb, silly thing, you know?
Right.
Not that big of a deal. But
Hey gang, did you know we have a Patreon now? Well, we do. In the episode description, you'll find the link. We have 3 different tiers available with all kinds of extra access or content. For example, you could have listened to this episode already. Or you could get access to bonus action, our extra episodes where we talk about stuff like favorite spells, monsters, we go over multi-class builds, homebrew material, and more. And that's not all, because there's going to be more and more stuff coming out as So You Want to Be a Dungeon Master continues to grow. So go check it out and then come back and finish this episode.
let's get into it. So we're under the understanding that we're not talking murder hobos. We're not talking serial killers. We're talking about people willing to do things that could potentially hurt people for profit.
Right.
Definitely evil as far as I'm concerned, because they got taken in by this organization. Now, so we don't have all the details. We don't know why they were taken in by this organization or how well connected the organization is. We just know that they're making a cheaper healing potion that is addictive and could eventually become like, you have to keep taking it forever. Like the fucking like Limitless, that movie with Bradley Cooper.
Oh yeah.
And they need to go on a mission to get some of the ingredients to make this. Also, I think Joester also ended up telling me a little bit later on, the players don't even necessarily know that last part. The once you take enough of them, you have to keep taking them or you start dying. They don't know that part. They just know the addictive part, I think.
Right. Okay. Which, I mean, you know, if you're evil, that's a great racket, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, getting people addicted to anything is a great racket for evil people. So,
amen.
Yeah, so I guess we know what we're doing, or at least a broad stroke. How are they getting, like, where is this adventure going to start?
Great question. So I know that in speaking with Joester, I know that this is taking place in a home brew setting.
Okay.
And of which there's only like a couple town names and stuff that are, he sent me a very basic map and stuff like that. But I think kind of it's we just won't go into super great detail about like the name of the city or something or whatever comes up. That way he can kind of fit things into his own world building.
Right.
And it'll really just be like we're giving a solid outline that anybody could pick up and put into their own setting. So instead of saying,
fair enough,
you go to the swamp of regret, it's like, no, you go to a swamp and here's what the kind of vibes are.
And you feel a little remorseful about it.
Yeah. And that's kind of, and then you can name it.
Yeah.
You can tell us if it's in the north or the south or if it's landlocked or whatever.
But I mean, like, are we starting this off in like a tavern, or are we on the road and some like the mailman from Zelda runs up, hey, and like brings him a letter?
Ooh, let's do something like that. Let's do something like that where it doesn't matter where the party is, only that they receive a message, a missive from this organization saying, hey, we need you to go do X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
So then
the X, Y, and Z. That's what we need. We need an X, a Y, and a Z.
Absolutely. So
just
I think
the letter X, like go to the street, take an X off of somebody's store sign, and then, you know, maybe you can find all three of them in the same sign. It's over. End of the adventure.
Yeah, there you go. It's
kidding.
all about a quick brown fox. A quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, I think. There might be other words.
Yep, that's
there,
it.
But
that's the one. That's all of them.
No, because there's no W.
Yeah, okay. So
sorry, my fucking autism brain. I was like, wait a minute. So this messenger shows up. Now, this is like a evil organization plotting to take over plotting to create this addictive healing potion that people are going to need. How should this messenger show up? I feel like it should be cool. It should be indicative of the organization that they're a part of. Like maybe sneaks up on them, kind of.
Bomb.
Smoke bomb shows up with the smoke bomb or exits with the smoke bomb.
And yes.
2 smoke bombs?
Yes, and.
Okay.
2 smoke bombs. His smoke bomb show up, poof. And then, okay, I'm done here. Poof. Disappears smoke bomb.
With 2 smoke bombs. Incredible. I love that so much. Arrives with 2 smoke bombs. One to arrive. It covers the entire area in this heavily obscured fog. What the fuck is going on? And then just a face and a voice comes out of fucking nowhere, out of the fog, just going, and like sliding an envelope into your pocket. And it's just like, you have 7 days. And then just disappears.
Gone again. Yeah. I feel like for an evil organization, that's should be how they operate. It could even be like a smoke method or something.
Oh, like a summoned creature?
Yeah. That's evil. Subjugating little guys.
Hell yes. That's really good. Plus, you know me, I love a method.
Hear that?
I love a method.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Smoke method shows up, relays this message in secret, even though it's kind of in public, depending on where they are, very clandestine, and then dips out. So then from there, what does the letter say? Like, what is is it just kind of as simple as like, hey, it's us. You need to go get these 3 items.
It doesn't need, I feel like the smoke method showing up and be like, here's a thing is enough for they don't have to be like, hey, it's such and such from the dark shadowy group.
Yeah.
Just checking in. Yeah. Like we can skip all the corporate language up at the top.
Yeah. This is the 3rd smoke bomb we've got this week. How do we know who it's from?
Right. So we did a little talking off camera about this. So like X, Y, and Z were thinking they should need to get 3 different components for whatever this is, for this healing potion dealio.
Yeah.
So one of them should be like a catalyst or some kind of a focus, like some kind of an arcane thingamawhatsit that is owned by somebody that they have to kind of like steal or whatever, what have you.
No, I'm down for this.
Belongs to like somebody else has a thing, and they need the thing. Because, like, the problem with, like, I'm thinking about, like, the mechanics of making stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just in general, like the general materials. And if you're trying to make a lot of healing potion, but you're only sending people out to get 3 things, it seems like that's just not physically going to be enough stuff. If it's just 3 things that you mix together, because then you're going to have enough for like a batch, and then you're going to have to go out and get all the stuff again. So I think
like setting
like,
up a means to continue to get this stuff.
Right,
Maybe.
right. So, like, one of them should be some kind of piece of weird arcano tech that's going to help with the process.
Okay, maybe that's what they're
and
stealing.
Then that's what they're going to steal. Then,
okay, so let's run with this one really quickly. Let's do this.
Okay.
So we have
let's do this.
Somebody else has the thing. You got to steal the thing from them. It's some kind of magical tech. That's already a really solid starting point. So then the question becomes, and these kind of all relate to one another, is who has the thing? What is the thing? And how are they going to steal the thing? Because all of those questions kind of line into each other potentially, you know, like the flavor of what the thing is, this piece of tech, could tie into who owns it, or who maybe they made it, maybe they bought it off somebody, who knows.
Right. So I think the thing should be owned by some person of nobility, somebody with like a keep and retained guards and stuff, like a hard target type of deal, where very high defense, that it would make more sense for them to do cat burglary or some form of deception to maybe move it, to get it out of there type of deal. Like, oh no, there's people robbing other places, you need to get your stuff and take it to the bank, and then they hit the freaking transport on the way there.
Hell yeah, something like that for sure.
Yeah,
I love
that.
Then okay, so if it's this important piece of tech that this nobility has, and is the tech some sort of like alchemy tech? And we said arcana tech, so it's like magical alchemy set, like something that helps making potions, or
like a enchanted still, or like some kind of weird
what if
diamond lens or something that they need for focusing stuff,
for distillation, for distilling and making concentrated things. Because like you said, it might be an issue, like realistically, storytelling wise, like the quantity of stuff you get, ingredients, substrates, all that kind of shit. So what if this, like you kind of said, diamond lens or something like that, this filtration system, distillation set, whatever, can concentrate it. That way you only need, you can get away with fewer ingredients, quantity wise. You know what I mean? Instead of needing 10 lizard folk hearts, you can just do it with 1. Not that it's going to be lizard folk hearts, but as a random example.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Let's do that. Let's make it so that it's some way for them to make what should be a huge, giant factory spanning production line, and makes it so you can fit it into a small house.
Brilliant.
Like my brain immediately went to like an enchanted still or something like that.
Okay, perfect. Boom, boom, boom. I love that. Okay, so this noble has this. Why does this noble have it? Just a little tiny backstory stuff. Why does this noble have it? He invented it. Did he invent it also for magical potions and stuff like that? Or what if this guy just invented it like as like a brewer, or like a what's the name of somebody who owns this a vineyard, a vintner, I think they're called. Like he makes his own wine, and this is just a way to be like, I only have literally a row of grape vines, but I can produce enough wine for the whole city, or something like that. Yeah,
I like that.
Okay. Vineyard.
So it's definitely not what it was intended for, and like, so the fact that they're going to start using it to make like alchemical healing stuff, something about it breaks the healing property of it and turns it into this crazy dangerous potion
Yeah.
instead of making the healing potion like it should.
Right. Incredible. Okay, that's really cool. So we know that there's going to be guards and security.
Mm-hmm.
So then in regards to guards and security and stuff like that, I think it's always fun to have like roving guards, you know? Guards on patrol, so moving around.
You got those guys.
In theory, you could spend long enough to kind of get an idea of their patterns.
Mm-hmm. Guards on every door.
Guards at doors. Maybe even like a magical sentry creature kind of thing, like a monster that has like blind sight or something like that. Like, there's only like one or two throughout the entire place, but like
some gargoyles or something that are
something like that. Yeah, like there are even like there's spiders, even like the crab. I mean, it's literally a CR0, but crabs have 5 or 10 feet of blind sight. Like just as obviously we're not going to maybe use crabs, but
right.
Unless this is like a weird coastal vineyard. It's kind of hilarious.
That's why you can only get one vine to grow.
It could be.
Move away from the salt, my guy.
My guy. The salt. No, but I like the salty taste in my wine. I like a good salty red.
Salty wine.
Okay.
Salty red.
That's really funny, but I really do like this already. This is really good.
Okay, cool.
Okay, that's item 1. We got this nice and kind of more so it's like social and exploration a little bit combined. And it could turn into combat, but by no means does it have to. And in fact,
exactly.
You should try not to.
It would be bad if it does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then if you do start combat, maybe then there's a vault. If they find out what they're trying to steal, then it goes into a vault. Makes it that much harder.
And then they have to crack the vault to get in.
They have to crack the vault. They gotta steal a scroll of knock or some shit. Okay, so that's item 1. That feels really solid.
Cool. Yeah, that's item 1.
Item 2, I came up with this interesting idea.
For sure.
Now, I just had recently watched a anime movie on Netflix, and it's called Bubble.
You can say it's a podcast. This isn't TikTok. You can say Netflix.
I hate them so much. I hate them. I hate them. Yeah, so I watched this anime movie called Bubble. Highly fucking recommend it, dude. It was beautifully animated. Such fun music, a brilliant story, and honestly, I was all about it. It was one of those anime that I watch. Dude, 15 minutes into the fucking movie, I was like, oh, I have 1,000 ideas for D&D. I have a billion ideas for how I can use some of this stuff for D&D. And that's where I come up with this idea. Some sort of competition. So this ingredient, whatever we decide it's going to be, in the way to get it is you have to win it in some sort of tournament competition, something along those lines. You have to win this competition in order, and the prize is this thing.
Which the evil characters will then have a chance to cheat and lie.
Cheat, lie, get violent even. And here's the thing, because it's an evil campaign too, so are the other competitors. Not all the other competitors are squeaky clean and like, well, that's not what the rules say. Like, no, these guys are also like, oh, you're cheating?
Those guys
we've been cheating. Yeah, we've been cheating. This is our like hometown where this is like our home sport. So we know the game even better than you. We've been doing this game. We know the course. We know we laid traps down. There's environmental hazards. So this is going deep into the exploration side of D&D.
What if it's, well...
And then, because the movie Bubble is based around parkour. So I wrote down parkour as an idea because I just think it would be really cool to see how different class abilities and spells and different things. I mean, obviously with flying, it kind of fucks that up big time. So it'd be one of those things where if you were doing parkour, you would have to be like, have that be a rule of like, but then again, I mean, people are going to cheat and lie. So maybe that is a good idea. Maybe maybe one of the rules is you're not allowed to fly, like no flight. So then it becomes if you fly, you have to do so secretively.
Right.
Maybe. What do you think about this?
Otherwise you get, So is this more of like an urban parkour thing, or
The movie Bubble takes place in I think
Okay.
Tokyo, but it's flooded.
Okay.
It's flooded. Tokyo's been destroyed and it's flooded. So there's like buildings hanging over street, like, street signs and like all this kind of infrastructure that's just creating this like tapestry of crumbled buildings.
Okay.
And it's so fucking cool. You gotta see the movie. It's really, really good. I could not recommend it enough. But that's what they use, and I think it's a really cool idea. But that's one of those really specific, like, for all I know, in Joester's homebrew world, he doesn't have the idea of a flooded city. That's a little specific.
So I feel like I like the urban parkour element of things. I like that this is like an officially sanctioned race, quote unquote, for some town.
Right.
And the prize is whatever we decide. We'll get on that in a minute. And then it could just be a straight up skill challenge at that point. And like you were saying, like one of the rules could be if you get caught flying, you're just disqualified. You can't win. So it's technically against the rules to fly. You can try to fly.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to have to do like a stealth check or something in order to make it seem like you're not flying.
Right. Absolutely. And then the idea that not only do you have to go up against other competitors, and the idea of breaking the rules and doing so in a way where you don't get caught, but then also...
I also like the idea of it being... Sorry to cut you off,
good.
but I like the idea of it being like violence isn't allowed. But still, mysteriously, people get super fucked up every time one of these races happens. Yeah. But it's always like, oh, they slipped on a roof and fell 5 floors. Yeah, of course they're going to get hurt, type of deal. So if you can rig it up so that your competitors have a accident, then that's fair game.
Exactly. Super cool. I love that. Okay. So yeah, other competitors also are cheating. They have things like winged boots and stuff, like little tiny ways to cheat and stuff. Even like gliding things. Like there are a couple magic items where like you have to, like one of them is like a cloak. I think it might be Cloak of the Bat or Cloak of something, where like you can fly, but you have to be holding on to the cloak with both hands. Like you can't have another weapon in your hand.
That is Cloak of the Bat. Yeah.
But yeah, no flying, no violence, skill challenge vibes. And then there's also preset traps by the other competitors.
For sure.
And outside of like cheating and all that kind of stuff, there's just like environmental hazards. Like in Bubble, there's whirlpools because it's a flooded city. So there's whirlpools where people can drown. So bad news. You don't want to fall into the water in certain areas. Most of the time, falling into the water, not a big deal. But if you do it near the whirlpool, you could get fucked. So
I kind of like the idea of height being one of the biggest like environmental factors. Like
just falling.
If you miss a jump if you miss a jump or slip or something like that, you just fall and take 5d6 or however much fucking falling damage.
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to do this instead of doing this in a flooded urban thing? Do you want to do this maybe like in a forest or a jungle, and kind of like the parkour is a little more like in the branches of trees and like George of the Jungle vines vibe, or stick with...
I was thinking a non-flooded city, like an actual bustling city, and like one of like the environmental traps or something like that is like one of the competitors running by a house and knocking on the wall real quick, and then somebody opens a fucking shutter in your face.
Oh, okay. That'd be funny.
So like they've got friends and stuff like ready to help them out.
Because we could do like almost like when people do the parkour, like
laundry lines and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I fucking love
and like
that.
going, I'm thinking like Assassin's Creed status, like jumping in between the buildings and stuff, like running across a balcony on one side of the alley, and then jumping over and like grabbing a laundry line and sliding across that for a little bit, and like
yeah, I like that. That sounds dope. Okay, all right, yeah, we got some traps, environmental hazards, falling damage is a big concern. Other competitors are going to be cheating, using violence. You have to avoid the judges in terms of for cheating and stuff like that. So if this is like a parkour competition where they're, moving fast through the city kind of thing, should the judges have some sort of flying themselves or something like that, or hovering ability so that they can check things out? Maybe there's sensors around the place.
I like the idea of it being just regular judges, and they get like standalone, maybe 2 judges that are flying, but because of the nature of the race, there's a lot of points where like buildings get in their line of sight type of deal. So you just kind of have to wait for your right moment to spring into action.
Yeah, big time. Maybe even doing like luck rolls. That way the DM doesn't have to like design this entire fucking map and figure out all the nooks and crannies and be like, okay, the judge wouldn't be able to see
this
around
is 100% theater of the mind. 100,000% theater of the mind. So maybe
it's like
skill
you roll a d20, you call odds or evens. If it's evens, the judge can see you. So now it's stealth versus perception or something. Anyway, so that's really good. What should the item be? What should this ingredient be? Should it be, because obviously people are going to great lengths to get this. And luckily because of the distillation, magical distillation, kiln, whatever, we know that we don't need a ton of it because they can stretch it out. So maybe this is some ingredient that heals. I don't know.
Yeah,
trying to think, because they got this one and then there's another. We were thinking about doing a third one also where they have to take out a monster and harvest something. What if this is like something that helps them do the next part or something like that? Like this is how they get the information of where the monster is, or
yeah. So because like I like the idea of like, I keep saying that I like the idea of but so like the combat I think should be like clearing out a layer that has a stockpile of whatever the material is that they need for these health potions. Like the first bit's a thing for making the potions, like a piece of equipment. And then the combat is like clearing out the area for them to get the materials for the thing. I do think that maybe it's like a for the exploration bit, for the parkour, like some kind of like a bell or a chalice or something, like I'm trying to think of something that could be used in the combat to give the players a leg up in the fight.
Okay. Is it to give them, because here's where I'm coming from, is it the kind of thing where they could bypass this and be like, we'll do it without this thing? Or is it like, we need this thing? Like, we need to do the parkour thing because we do need this item. Like, if it was like, hypothetically, if it was like a map or a key, like the only way to enter this area that needs clearing out is to get this key or whatever, map, what have you, in order to get in.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. It could be something like that.
I was thinking something along those lines too. Maybe it is just like some kind of magical rite of passage into the mountains somewhere where there's supposedly some rare herbs.
Perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, maybe it's something like maybe there's, they need to go to this area because we don't know. Another thing I don't think we brought this up in the very beginning. We don't know exactly. I'm still in conversation with Joester, but we wanted to get this scheduling, this recording through and stuff. But I don't know exactly what level the characters are, which is why we haven't mentioned like hardcore. This is the DC of this, and this is, the skill challenge for this one.
Yeah, we're just still talking very broad hypotheticals right now.
So it's like, I don't know exactly what all of the monsters will be that we eventually have to clear out of this area. It could be, maybe they're just like kind of intellect devourers and they're kind of lower. Or maybe they're full-blown mind flayers. Just as 2 random examples. Right. It doesn't have to be them. But like, because then my idea would be for this item that they need, like they get a map of how to get there. So, or even just like, here's the location. Like the prize is, hey, if you come in first place, we'll tell you about a long lost dungeon or cavern or something in the Underdark or by this mountain that has been known to have untold riches. Like in Aladdin, like the idea of here is this place, like just telling people the existence of it and kind of where it is. But also, here's a necklace that'll make you immune to mind flayer shit because that place is riddled with mind flayers, as an example.
Right.
And it doesn't need to be like, oh, this item makes you immune to the main thing that you're going to be clearing out. But maybe it's like, hey, we're only level 5. We can't take on an entire colony of mind flayers. So having an item that makes us invisible to them, that's good because we're not actually clearing out the mind flayers. We're clearing out this other part of them. We just have to get past the mind flayers. We're clearing out these other monsters, these, I don't know, Duergar or low-level drow or spiders or whatever it may be. So it's like, you need this item because otherwise the mind flayers will fuck you up. So we're thinking mountain. I like the idea of it being in the Underdark and like caves and stuff like that. And then from there, if we think about all the potential monsters that could be there, I mean, dude, it could be a bunch of different things. It could be getting there. Maybe there is some kind of big monster that with the item number 2 can be avoided, but right now is too strong to fight. You just have to avoid. And then there's smaller things that you have to clear out.
Right.
That's one idea. There's also, I'm looking at a couple things here. What about, again, a lot of this depends on the level that these players are at, obviously. But what about if the item that they get in the parkour thing is a couple of potions that it's like unrelated. It's something that they're going to quote unquote need or very, very much desire for the next mission. So it'll be like, hey, if you win first prize, we're going to tell you where this amazing untold treasure is, this ancient location that's been buried over, and you're going to have to get there and clear it out. Here's also a bunch of potions of that kind of do greater restoration because the place has a bunch of basilisks.
Okay. I do like basilisks as bad guys. And petrification is scary.
Super scary. And then the nice thing is you're giving them a couple of potions that can do greater restoration. That way, it kind of puts the party much more at it and in a better spot to fight something that can do petrification. So I'm just going to say this is kind of like a maybe. We'll figure out if I want to do that. And then basilisks and potions of greater resto. And then I'll just put under here too, because there's also like other CR monsters, depending on how high level this is. There's also the Gorgon, that like steel bull creature that has petrifying mist. And then there's also Medusa, obviously. So a couple of options depending on how high level this is. You can kind of switch out. You can add in maybe the basilisks are like
cubes. So many minions. Cubes.
There could be cubes, all kinds of cubes, oozes. We love an ooze. I don't know if everyone remembers, but a big platform of my presidency is more oozes.
That's wild that you would make that a platform.
There's not enough oozes. It is what it is. Other underground subterranean cave monsters that I think are fucking dope. One of them is the Cloaker. Again, a lot of this depends on CR levels and stuff like that because the Cloaker's CR 8.
Right.
But very, very cool. We also have a monster called the Dark Mantle. Are you familiar? This little guy is only CR 1/2, stealth of 3, blind sight 60 feet. They look like, they pretty much look like squids, but they fly. 30 feet flying speed, small monstrosity. Now they have echolocation. They have false appearance. When it's motionless, it is indistinguishable from a cave formation such as a stalactite or stalagmite. So they're just chilling.
Oh, fun.
And then...
Oh, fun. Yeah, I really like the idea of just inundating them with a bunch of shit inside a cave.
Yeah.
Just like so much stuff.
And it's like
All
a
at
big
once.
resource drain before you get to the basilisks and or Gorgon or Medusa. Because the Dark Mantle is really cool. I mean, like I said, it's a CR 1/2. It's 11 AC, 22 hit points. Nothing crazy. So obviously you'd use a couple.
Right.
But here's the cool thing. Number one, it crush ability. So this is like the only action it can take that does damage. Just +5 to hit, 1d6 +3, but it attaches to the target. And if the target is medium or smaller, advantage on the attack roll. It attaches by engulfing the target's head. So now the target is blinded and unable to breathe.
No. Oh, no.
While attached in this way, it has advantage on all the attack rolls. Obviously, its speed becomes 0, and it can't benefit. It can't move at all. It can detach on its own, or the creature can take it off with a DC 13 strength check, so not that crazy. It also has another ability, because remember that Dark Mantles have blind sight of 60 feet. Has another ability, Darkness Aura, once a day.
Oh, no.
Not the Darkness spell.
Yeah.
Not the Darkness spell. No counter spell here. No dispel magic here.
Right.
Darkness Aura. A 15-foot radius of magical darkness extends out from the Dark Mantle, moves with it, and spreads around corners.
Damn.
It is counting as a concentration spell.
Okay, but it's still technically not a spell.
Still technically not a spell, although it does say if any of the darkness overlaps with an area of light created by a spell of 2nd level or lower, the spell creating the light is dispelled.
Okay.
So a
anything
daylight
less than
spell
daylight.
would get it. Yeah, but like cantrip light and dancing lights and shit like that would not work.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty fucking cool. I'm a big fan.
Okay.
I think that's really interesting. Throw a bunch of those in there. Also, I mean, you could include some really, depending on how high level this is, you could throw in some really interesting things like you're underground. Maybe every time you use thunder damage, you got to make a, what's it called? D100 kind of roll to see if you fucking do a cave-in. And not the kind of cave-in that would like TPK the party, but the kind of cave-in that would like, this is going to take way longer than you thought. You're going to have to unbury yourselves. You guys are fucked for a little bit. And then, yeah, this is really like the combat area. So the idea is that something about this ingredient, whether it's like, maybe it's a very cool, glowing subterranean flower or something like that, where you got to get the pollen or the nectar. And even though there's no sunlight, something about it grows
It's
here.
a mushroom.
Or it's a mushroom.
It's a glowing mushroom. Yes. I love mushrooms.
Glowing mushroom, and the basilisks are all about them.
Yeah, they love them. It's like,
And maybe the
they're
So
drugs for
wait,
basilisks.
here's an interesting idea too. What if
Uh-huh.
during the combat, the basilisks can use like a bonus action to eat mushrooms and heal themselves?
Yeah.
Bingo bango. But then
Maybe
if they do it
maybe
too
not
much,
a bonus action.
well, what about this?
Oh, then they take damage.
I was going to say that they glow and therefore people have advantage on hitting them because the mushrooms
so you
glow.
can still avert your eyes and right.
Yeah.
So you can still avert your eyes from the thing and not be at disadvantage because they're glowing now.
Then, yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
So if you eat one mushroom, no big deal. You just get a little bit of healing. Because we're not talking crazy healing, right? It's like 1d8, not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But if you're using every turn's bonus action to just constantly heal yourself, then you're going to start. And maybe there's some balancing questions there we'd have to figure out. Because like 1d8, is that really enough to be interesting? We'll have to figure it out.
I don't think so.
We'll have to figure it out. But that's going to depend.
It all
a little
depends
bit
on
the
level.
level. Yeah. Okay, I really like this. So they're definitely going to be fighting something that does petrification, probably basilisks.
Mm-hmm.
And depending if they're higher level than we anticipate, then either there's a Gorgon or a Medusa who's like in charge of the basilisks, maybe. Who knows?
Right. Okay.
So then on the way to the basilisk lair or whatever, you've got dark mantles, you've got cubes, you've got other monsters that you have to fight along the way. That's going to be a little bit of a
Zorn.
resource drain.
It's going to try to eat all their fucking equipment.
And then I'll just add in there, and this is kind of just like an optional idea that I had, and I'm not saying we need to add this, but since they're evil and presumably they cheated during the parkour competition, all this different stuff, what if one of the teams that they beat in the competition, because presumably we want them to win the competition, right? Not that we are fudging everything to make that happen, but what if one of the teams is waiting outside the cave entrance for the party to do all the hard work? They're low health, they have not as many resources, and then this other party shows up.
Definitely that's how this has to end.
Brilliant. I think that's a really good idea. And then it really just comes down to like how they want to do this, or it depends on how the DM wants to fit that in. That other party, because like one idea is like maybe that other party was also hired for this same job by that same organization, because this organization is evil. So they're like,
hedging their bets.
We're fucking, we're a workers union. We're going to make sure everyone has equality here. I doubt it.
Nah.
Doubt it. You're working unpaid, son.
Whichever group brings it back. Yeah, exactly. You don't get paid until you come back with the goods. So
exactly. Paid upon completion. I'll add that to the messenger thing in the very beginning.
Yeah.
Paid upon completion. And then obviously there's like information about the 3 items, like some loose information about the 3 items so that the players actually know where to go and stuff. This is incredible.
Yeah, we did it again.
This sounds like it would be a lot more than a one shot, but I think this is a really good idea.
Yeah.
This is a lot more than a one shot.
This is definitely like a full adventure pack. Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah. Unless you breezed through it, unless you made it really quick and you told the players ahead of time, heads up, there's going to be 3 parts of this, like 3 acts, if you think of it from a storytelling aspect.
Right.
And then like, heads up. This is like, if I was running this for a, what's it called? A stream. If I was running this for our Twitch or something, this is the kind of thing I would bring up beforehand. Hey gang, we're only going to be playing D&D tonight for 4 hours. So the first part of the quest, the first item and the second item, I'm not going to try and get into too much combat with you. I would like you not to get into too much combat with me. The idea of those 2 parts is to do little stealth mission in the beginning, and then a skill challenge in the middle, and then we're going to get into combat at the end.
And then we'll get into combat, and you'll be able to do all your crunchy million damages and all that stuff.
Exactly.
All the stuff that you evil people like to do. But
exactly. But
yeah, that is true. That's about the only way that you could get through this, I think.
Yeah. Is having some open dialogue there. Because,
but I think, I think it's still, though.
It still could you could easily stretch this out to be way different, to be way longer, I mean. Like, you could squeeze so much juice out of this freaking banana here, but I just think...
you got a distillation diamond that makes more... and we're back.
And
full circle.
Back, dude. Wow. I'm actually a fan of this one. I think this is cool. I'd be really interested.
Man, we're batting 1,000 on these.
We're crushing it. We're absolutely the best.
We're absolutely demolishing it. The best D&D writers ever.
Seriously. Hey, listen, if you're listening to this and you want us to write you a one shot, I'll take your money. Yeah. I'll fucking do this all day for money. Are you kidding me?
For sure.
Are you kidding me? People are willing to donate. Now, it's for a great cause, obviously. All of these that we've done thus far have been for amazing causes to help, give medical aid to people and stuff like that. So, incredible causes. But I'd like to believe that people are also willing to pay these prices because we're giving them a good product also. That it's kind of twofold,
for sure.
Ideally. Man, I think this is solid as hell, dude. Obviously, there's still some big work to be done when it comes to finding out exactly what level we're at and how many monsters and what the skill challenge can be and all those different things. But I think this is a solid ass outline.
Yeah, this is definitely a good full adventure, start to finish.
Yeah, absolutely. We got our messenger shows up out of nowhere.
What I really like about this too, it's all, you can shoehorn this into any setting pretty much.
Big time.
Any campaign, you can just pick this up and throw it right in there.
Big time. Absolutely.
And that's one of my favorite things about buying content as far as like adventure packs and stuff. I kind of like them when they're super lore deep and heavy and stuff like that, but like I've also got my own story that I'm trying to tell. I just kind of need the adventure part.
Yes. Yes.
Like I've got the overarching storyline. I just need the monster of the week.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean too, because like I have some adventure modules that I have not read through because I don't really plan on running them as the adventure module. I pick them up because I'm going to steal some vibes. I'm going to steal some vibes. I'll tell you right now, I got the Icewind Dale book. They have a fucking like a gigantic whale that there's like a druid or something like rides this whale, and there's like a giant air bubble on it so that it can go underwater, and everyone riding its back will be able to breathe air. Stealing it. Thank you.
Yeah, stolen.
That's a brilliant idea.
That's so cool. Yeah.
That's a brilliant idea. Stealing it. Yeah, so I do that shit all the time.
Hell yeah.
All the time. I find little ideas here and there that work, and it's like, oh god, they're so good, so fun. Eat them up. But yeah, I mean, I know we got some really cool ideas down the line for stuff that we're going to be putting out both on Twitch and also on the Patreon. Every once in a while doing a couple projects that's only for the Patreon. So if you're not part of the Patreon, hey gang, what the heck are you doing? Become a full ass ancient dragon, why don't you? Grow up. Grow up and be an ancient dragon.
Jeez.
God.
Take 500 or 600 years. Grow up.
I know, dude. And the sign of any good dragon, ancient dragon, adult is you got to be responsible. You got to be an adult. You got to act the part. It's not enough just to have the title. You got to also walk the walk, so to speak. Part of that is being socially conscious and just getting out there, voting. Again, death saves for monsters. More oozes. Vote for Justin for president, baby. Coming at you from Big Tap. Sponsored by Big Tap.
Okay, there it is. All right, we're done for this week. That's all we can get into. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Soyouwannabeadm, or ask us a question at soyouwannabeadm@gmail.com, or you can ask one in our Discord server. If you liked the episode, don't forget to tell your friends about the Patreon and leave a positive review. Join us next time for more Dungeon Master tips and tricks.
Bye.
See you.
And now it's time to shout out our Patreon gang. First up in the Adult Dragon gang, we have Theo. Hey Theo, what up? And then we have our Ancient Dragon gang. Nub Muffins, may Palor's light be upon you. And we also have Lee. Hey Lee, can't wait to roll dice with you. If you want a shout out, you gotta get on that Patreon gang, my friends. Tune in next time for another episode of So You Wanna Be a DM.